wonderful sponsors. I don't know if you just saw the news, but average U.S. household debt just hit $152,000. That's mortgages, cars, cards, student loans, but the national debt just hit $37 trillion. It's all going out. Ask yourself this: when the system hiccups, who bails you out? It's not the Fed, not the politicians, and that's why I own gold. Gold doesn't need a CEO, doesn't need missed earnings, it doesn't freeze your account on a Friday at 4:59. While they print, gold just sits there doing what it's done for thousands of years. Store value. If you're done playing musical chairs with your savings, get something real in your hand. That's why you should try our good friends Kirk Elliott Precious Metals today. Goldwithjustin.com. Kirk and the team going to walk you through what they're doing, whether you're a seasoned pro when it comes to buying precious metals or you're just getting started. Call Kirk and the team today at 720-605-3900. That's 720-605-3900 or go to goldwithjustin.com.
In West Michigan, join the conversation now at 616-774-2424. That's 616-774-2424. It's West Michigan Live with Justin Barkley on Wood Radio.
Welcome in. It's closed until April 30th. Is that the story? Holy smokes. They're really going to be putting a wrinkle in traffic in your commute. We'll talk about that on the way. The biggest stories of the day, the ones you won't hear anywhere else, powered by our good friends at Heartland Home Mortgage. That's what we call our big three. Plus another candidate throwing their hat in the race for 2026. One of the biggest years here in Michigan when it comes to the election cycle. We'll explain why, get into it all after this.
News, weather, and traffic. And the biggest stories of the day. We're talking about what matters most in West Michigan and beyond. This is the Big Three. Now, today's Big Three.
Yeah, you're going to be talking about these around the water cooler, the dinner table, no matter where you are. Good friends at Heartland Home Mortgage. HHMLending.com. Dave Galloway and the team want to make sure you're taken care of and all your questions answered. Whether you want to buy, refi, home equity, line of credit, we've done it all. And every time we save thousands. They're faster. They're better than the big banks. So come to your home and help get it all settled. HHMLending.com.
Number one.
Any and all Democrats. Well, there was maybe one or two Republicans, in name only, pardoned, by the Biden Autopen. Boy, they're quaking in their boots this morning. President Trump issuing that proclamation declaring all Biden Autopen pardons to be void. Just dropped that grenade in D.C. yesterday, declaring them all those rubber stamped. About half of them, they probably didn't even know who did them. That's the thing. And they were probably selling these pardons and access anyway, to the highest bidder. That is what it looks like, and that's what Trump has said. Look, we're going to go ahead and cut all these off. Now, the best part about this is just the beginning. This is the intro. The trap has been set. Let me explain what happens next in just a moment, but first,
Number two.
the Trump administration will withhold SNAP, they say. Why? Because Michigan is hiding something. They refuse to go along with showing everybody the data, the transparency. We've been told they want to be transparent. Oh, we just want to be transparent here. No. Michigan and a handful of other states are ones that have been withholding that data. Who gets the food stamps? Have you gone through the proper checks, all of the balances, the things that need to happen to make sure that we're not losing money due to fraud and waste, etc.? Well, people are in Michigan and Whitmer State saying not going to go along with all that. In fact, I wonder what they have to hide. The plan announced to cut that off starting this week in Michigan and other states during the president's cabinet meeting yesterday after Secretary of Ag's Brooke Rollins said the department would be withholding those. But if they've already done this, it looks like 800,000 have officially been removed. 800,000 of the 42 million cut off. Why? Well, you'll hear right from her
which
words.
became very much a part of the national conversation during the Democrat shutdown was SNAP reform, food stamp reform. When all of America saw what so many of us know and have been working on, but when you have so much rampant fraud in a program that 42 million Americans participate in, now a big good piece of news that I hope is written about, since you became president, about 800,000 of those 42 million have moved off of food stamps, which is hopefully the plan with better jobs, higher wages, etc. But still, when we found 186,000 dead people's Social Security numbers being used, 500,000 people receiving benefits more than twice. We had a couple of people receiving benefits in 6 states. In February of this year, we asked for all the states for the first time to turn over their data to the federal government to let the USDA partner with them to root out this fraud, to make sure that those who really need food stamps are getting them, but also to ensure that the American taxpayer is protected.
You know, it's interesting. The idea of compassion isn't just to give everyone free everything. In fact, it's only to take care of those people who need it most. And ultimately, at the end of the program, the end of their time on this thing, it would be for them to get off so that they could thrive. That 800,000 number, those are folks who've moved off the rolls because they're back thriving.
Number 3.
The GOP in Tennessee holds on to a key. That race in the House, they're close, but really, seriously, it was not that close. It was closer than it should have been, and I'll explain why coming up. It may be a warning for Republicans. We'll get to that, and what was really wrong with the Democrats. By the way, the Democrats really biffed this, and I'll explain. I think they could have gotten closer, maybe could have even won the thing, but they made a key error. And there's a lot to learn from it. We'll get into that all coming up this morning. Plus, that bridge, 96 to 131, will be closed. It's taken out by the semi-truck yesterday. Going to be closed till April 30th, the news.
Call Justin now at 616-774-2424. That's 616-774-2424. West Michigan Live with Justin Barclay on News Radio Wood 1300 and 106.9 FM.
Yeah, you want to use that talkback feature? You can on the iHeartRadio app. Just click the little microphone button there. Let it rip. Rant, rave, sound off, comment, complaint. All coming up here. We'll give you a chance to get in. Talking with a new candidate running for Senate here in Michigan. Coming up at about 9:35 this morning, you'll hear from them. Why 2026 is so important. By the way, this is key, not just for the survival of the president's administration has to be able to move forward. You got to send the folks to Congress to be able to do that. Indiana yesterday moved to counter some of the things we're seeing with California and some of these other states moving their districting around. Looks like Indiana's going to be all red, which I don't know how many seats that was that'll pick up, but several. Florida's going to make the same move. You're going to see a lot of this up into the next year. Why is it so important? It'll be important nationally 2026 to maintain so that the administration can move. For you Democrats get back in control, it's going to be, it's all, you know what's going to break loose again. They're going to move to impeach Trump. They're going to come up with all this fake mumbo jumbo. And of course, you talk about chaos as if we haven't seen it already. They're all in on the chaos. So that's why 2026 is important from a national level. From the state level here in Michigan, I think it might be one of the most important of our state's history. If we don't come through, if we don't get together and make the right decisions and make the right moves and work together for truth, logic, and common sense, faith, family, freedom here in Michigan, guess what? Kiss to say goodbye. As important as it was in 24 for our nation to get the president elected, and we dodged. Think about it. We really dodged that bullet. With Kamala Harris could be in office right now. Tim Walz, the corrupt Tim Walz from Minnesota. We've seen how much they have they've discovered in the fraud, the Somali fraud. That's another whole other story we got to get to a little bit later as well. But you see that whole racket. That guy could be a heartbeat away. He could be the vice president right now. But we were spared. So keep that in mind as we move forward into 2026. Now, here's what I wanted to tell you. and why this is so important. The GOP in Tennessee won this House, the 7th District. I think the guy, Matt Van Epps is his name, won by 9 points. Now, that's a district, I think it used to run 20 points. In fact, I think Trump won it by over 20 points in 24. Why is that important? It could be a signal. Now, there's a couple of things here. It could be a signal to Republicans that you're not doing things the way you ought to be doing, and that's messaging and whatnot, candidate selection, that sort of thing as well. But it also could be a signal to Democrats. This gal they had running was like from the AOC left loon wing of the party. That's what Senator Kennedy calls it. I love that terminology. It's from the loon wing of the party. And she didn't do them any favors. By the way, those candidates don't. People want truth, logic, and common sense. And this is one of the biggest flaws they had, is running somebody like that. Now, this is going to be a problem for them in the primaries in some ways. So it's a warning to Democrats, but Republicans as well. Got to make sure your messaging's on point.
I think that's the wrong lesson to take away here. This is Trump did win it by 22. But Marsha Blackburn in the midterm in 2018, when Trump was unpopular, only won the district by half a point. So Matt Van Epps is going to win it by 9 tonight. And the lesson to take away from this is Democrats picked their own candidate. They had 3 state representatives running. They picked the liberal wingnut, the person who said she hated country music, she hated Nashville, she was uncomfortable with prayer, she wanted to bully state troopers. That's the problem Democrats face in primaries all over the country in 2026, that they may nominate a left-wing nut who can't win the general.
Well, we need adults in the room, folks that are going to be truth, logic, and common sense, and that's by the way, if Democrats want to win, that's what they'll do. But they're not going to be able to do that because of the most radical AOC Bernie side of the party, the Mamdanis. They've hijacked the Democrat Party. It's really bad news for them. So I say this to the GOP. I say this to Republicans. This is yours to lose. What does that mean? Don't squander the opportunity. What does that mean? Put people out that are truth, logic, and common sense and can communicate messaging to the American people that they're going to go in and they're going to fix the problems that the American people care about. Now, this is a lot easier said than done. It's tough because you got to fight the media 24/7 who tells you things aren't working out. Who tells you all the pain you're experiencing now is Donald Trump's fault? Forget all the junk that Biden did in the 4 years previously to cause this massive inflation and all the rest of it. Trump said it yesterday during the cabinet meeting. He said, you know what, people forget I inherited this mess. And I am dealing with it, trying to get it. Now, he did say some things, probably not the right thing to say, about affordability. Talking about how affordability, it's a hoax. And what he means by that is the media is using it as a hoax. He's not saying people aren't having issues affording things. What he's saying is that the way the media is portraying is that it is his fault. That's the real problem. We've seen gas prices actually the best they've been in 4 years. Everything else is starting to slowly move in the right direction. But question is it going to be fast enough? Now, I've got some good news about investments for children. And, of course, some of the economy stuff is really starting to shape up. We got interest rates coming down. We got all those good things moving on a direction. But the one thing we've got to make sure that we do is make sure we sell this. Tell people about it. And when I say we, I just mean truth, logic, and common sense, whoever you are running. And I'm not like a particular party guy. I'm just telling you. I stand for truth, logic, and common sense. And there's really only one party that lies with these days. One electable party, anyway. So what about the Biden Autopen scandal? This thing is going to go nuclear because I believe it's a trap. I believe Democrats are going to step right into it. Trump has said it. In fact, you can mark my words, in the coming days, we're going to start hearing about how the lawsuits are going to fly. And that's exactly what he wants. I'll explain what could happen coming up after this. But first, if you're able, please join us with the National Anthem.
West Michigan Live with Justin Barkley on News Radio Wood 1300 and 106.9 FM and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio
Here
app.
are your headlines from the Midwesterner this Wednesday, December 3rd. I'm Robin Poffman. It's a Midwesterner.news original story. Here in Michigan, a connection to George Soros and his son. A recent federal tax filing exposing how dark money groups are influencing Michigan politics by pouring millions of dollars into progressive groups to steer our state to the left. A tax filing submitted by the 1630 Fund shows that the DC-based nonprofit linked to Soros pumped more than $3 million into more than a dozen progressive groups right here in Michigan.
If I go one day, I had one day where I didn't do a news conference, there's something wrong with the president. You people are crazy. I'll let you know when there's something wrong. There will be someday.
President Trump holds his 9th cabinet meeting on live TV for close to 2.5 hours. Former President Biden holding 9 meetings over the course of his 4 years in office. For these stories and more, visit the Midwesterner at themidwesterner.news.
Bad breath is a confidence killer. You can have the best outfit, the sharpest resume, the funniest joke.
Good morning, folks. Appreciate you being here with us. The behind-the-scenes live stream rolling right along. We're kicked off and off to a running start. Thank you so much for the people over on the VIP, on local supporters there. By the way, you can support us right now. Get 4 months free. I believe the VIP bonus is the code. VIP bonus when you type that in. Normally, prices jump to $9, by the way. $9 a month. Normally $9 a month, but you can lock in an entire year and get 4 months free during the Black Friday, Cyber Monday week special. And this thing wraps up this weekend, so make sure you get in and get it done. I saw people yesterday taking advantage of this deal. It's a really good deal. You get all the fireside chats, all the Q&As that we're going to be doing behind the scenes each and every day. In fact, we do those, call them the after party. It's the show after the after show with the remnants over there. You get all your questions answered. Send the secret show prep out daily. We get, in fact, today we'll have a guest at 10:30. You'll be able to ask and get those questions answered of guests that we have on the Locals First, Locals Exclusive. All the bonuses that add up if you were a VIP. And if you sign up for a whole year, you got a copy of my book, Good News, Hope, and Encouragement for Trying Times. It'll come to you. I'll actually sign it. Not going to use the Autopen. It'll be me. Actually sign it and send it to you. So check that out at justinbarclay.com/VIP. The VIP's hanging out today. Carol's in the house. Good to see you. Mendo just took advantage of the deal yesterday. Congratulations to you, Terry. Good to see you, Tim, as well. I see Gritter's in the house. I think our first VIP, lifetime founding VIP. $5. You want to know what that is? It's not for everybody. Only serious supporters that really believe in the mission. Email me, Justin at justinbarclay.com, and I'll tell you more about it. Jill Marie Salo, good to see you as well. J.M. Timmer, good to see you. Cook Garden So on Rumble this morning. Tennisal History Diggers, S.J., Trish in progress. Lady Vu, thank you so much for being here with you. I appreciate it. Not on X today, lady? We should be. Let me see if maybe I could fix that. Now it looks like we're streaming. I don't know. Maybe there's an issue with X. Jason on the book, Sherry, Rhonda, Sean, Charlene, some of the others. I do see some folks on the tube. Anybody on X watching us right now? Anybody picking us up on X? Drop me a comment real quick. Let me know if you see us, and then I will take a look here if it did not end up working out. Brian's in the house too. Thank you guys. Appreciate you being here with us. Hey, don't forget, right now, it is the Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale inside the store. Everything inside, a 25% off at justinbarclay.com. Inside the store, justinbarclay.com. 25% off when you promo code Xmas25. It's a trap. What do I mean? I think Trump set a trap for him with the Fauci, the Milley, the Cheney pardons. You remember that whole committee, the January 6th committee? They all got pardoned. Now, why did these people get pardoned if they didn't do anything wrong? Trump said all the pardons signed with Autopens, the ones that are going to be null and void. Now, why do I say this is a trap? And I'll tell you why. This is it, folks. This is, people talk about the 3D chess. This is it. So Democrats can't help themselves. and the media, but I repeat myself. But here's the deal. You're going to see the lawsuits start rolling in. Now, this, you might say, this, of course, the judges are going to constantly lawfare. They always try to throw a kink in the plans, etc. No, this is exactly what Trump wants. What? What do you mean? Why? Why could he possibly want to get sued? Trump wants to get sued because now they'll have to defend them all. All of this information will come out in the lawsuits. All of it will come out in the fight about Biden, who he was, how the pardons got done, who contributed for what, how it worked inside the inner workings. You know, all of that's just going to support this theory that Biden really wasn't. It's 45-47. We may not have even had a 46 president during that time. I'm telling you, this is expert level trolling, and it is strategery, as Debbie used to say. I don't think we've ever seen before. Anyway, that's one of the ways to look at these things. We got more, in fact, coming up. We'll talk with some of the folks that's running for Senate. Another candidate will join us in just moments, 9:35 at the other side of the news. Bottom hour, we'll bring you up the headlines, the latest on that exit or that entrance ramp, 131 and 196. Holy cow. Some of the news you probably don't even want to hear. We're going to give you that coming up in a second. Oh, hang in there with us, folks.
Barkley on News Radio 1300 and 106.9 FM.
Save big money.
All right, stand by, folks. Stand by. All right, we did get a confirmation. X is streaming. Lady, I don't know what happened, but it looks like it is up and running right now. Yes, Dick says, the discovery phase will root out the truth. That's exactly what I see happening. I think you're exactly right about that. I think I need a pardon pen for my wife sometimes. Oh, yeah, that's good. That's good. Got your popcorn ready? It's going to get interesting. I'd say arrest them all. Start this process. Let's get it going. Start this process. Start putting the feet to the flames here, because this is the, you want to talk about energizing the base. And a lot of people out there say, we haven't seen any arrests yet. You go out and you get Fauci, you get Milley, you get some of these folks rounded up, and you start that process. We got Comey's already in that list. Letitia James already in that list. I'm telling you, I think a lot of people are going to get excited. Does that mean Liz Cheney's pardon is void? Anybody that was signed with Autopen, and I would imagine that Liz Cheney, any of those J6 committee folks, because again, that was the question I always asked is why pardon them? Why pardon them if they didn't do anything wrong? Why would you pardon them? Crazy, huh? Tell me. So, just part of the conversation this morning. Thank you for sharing, by the way. You help us get the word out. Every time you share, you get the word out about this program, the show, and the truth, logic, and common sense that people need to hear. Trump, the troll in chief. How about this one? I don't know if you guys saw this one. He is going after Ilhan Omar as well. Oh my goodness. Why did you marry your brother? Yeah, well, that's not Trump specifically, but that's Rapid Response 47. Now that's not from a well, like, that sounds sick and twisted, but that wasn't really from a sick and twisted perspective. She married the brother in order to get into the country, get him into the country, and there was a lot of fraud. In fact, there's a lot of that that's been uncovered in Minnesota. So we're going to talk about that too. We've got that all coming up today, and some of it might have to wait to the after show. But stand by. We'll get to the latest. We got to check real quick if we can here our line. Next guest is up and ready to go. Genevieve Peters Scott with us this morning. Good morning. How are you? Can you hear me?
I can.
Fantastic.
Can you see me?
We can see you and hear you.
Awesome. How are you?
Fantastic. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So if you could, I don't know if there's a way to center yourself a little bit more in the actual shot there, because you're coming, when we got this two shot here, you're coming off a little bit off center. There we go. Yeah, that's a little better. That looks great.
Perfect.
All right. I think we've got you all set. You look good. You sound good. And we'll be back with you. Now, what's your website? Because we'll put that up on the screen too when we get you back on the air. What's a good place for folks to find you?
Thank you, Justin. My initials for Genevieve Peters Scott are GPS. So it's gpsforsenate.com.
And then to spell it out, not like the number, right?
No, correct. FOR.
Perfect. GPS for Senate. I like that. It's catchy. All right, hang on. Here we go.
I'm the right direction for Michigan.
Somebody thought that through. That's really good. All right. Thank you, Genevieve. Hang on one second. We're going to put you up in just a moment, folks. We're back on the air live in like 2 minutes here. just giving you a notification about 2 minutes, and we'll be back live on the air with our next guest running for Senate here as a Republican in Michigan. As far as I understand, I believe there are 3 candidates. We've spoken with 2 of them. Genevieve is the third. And again, you know how we do this. I give everybody a shot to come on, and we'll talk to everyone, because I just believe that's the best way to do it. You got to hear from everyone so you can make your best decision, and give me a chance to hear those plans, those thoughts, and where they stand on things. I think is healthy for debate. So that's what we do today. Let's see. Is she related to Gary Peters? That I don't know. I think you could probably tell us. I don't know the answer to that, Sean. I would say that's a pretty common last name, though. So, okay. We've got 45 seconds left here, and we're back on in just a moment. Let me just make sure. Maha Health Update coming up at 10:30 today, folks. Stand by for that. That'll be a good one. Like I said, lots to do in the after show today. We're going to try and get through as much as we can during the full program. One Leg Patriot, good to see you over on Rumble. Appreciate you being here with us. All right, here we go, folks. Back on the air. Stand by.
Dollars for retirement. Call us to find out more about the Talent Complimentary Comprehensive Financial Plan and gift of a will and trust. Mike and the Talent team are not attorneys, but they work with a group of attorneys who will provide a will and trust at no charge to you. Here in Grand Rapids, call 616-373-3000 or online at guardingyournestegg.com.
Advisory services offered through Talent Private Wealth, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor.
Hey, it's Glenn Beck, and you're listening to West Michigan Live with our good friend, Justin Barclay. The Glenn Beck program coming up at 10 on Wood Radio.
You know, I've got some good news today. The bad news about that entrance on the that ramp there being closed till April 30th. It's not something that you want to hear. But I do have good news to, I think, help put a nice cap on the show. I'll give you some warm and fuzzies today. We'll get to that coming up in just moments. If you want to join the program, you can at any time at 616-774-2424. First, we'll thank the folks at the Good Feet store helping me stay on my toes each and every day, because you know, to keep up with the news, you got to. And to keep up with my little girls, okay, we just had the youngest turn 3, and my oldest, her birthday is Saturday. She'll turn 5. And you can imagine, especially this time of year, going to get the pictures done for Christmas and Santa, feeding. I think we got some reindeer feeding or something like that we're going to do this year. We go to the Christmas tree lightings and all those, whether it's parties or whether you're working, it could it's not just play. Maybe it's working. You want to feel comfortable. You want to feel good on your feet, right? That's where the Good Feet store steps in, and you can step in to find out how you can feel so much better. You don't have to feel being up on your feet all day long, whether you're a nurse or whether you're somebody who's got a lot to do, you got a lot to accomplish. You know how that is. Maybe you get to the end of the day and it's time to prop those feet up. Now, you don't always have to feel that way. The Good Feet store can help. Walk into 28th Street right in front of Costco today at the Good Feet store, or in Portage on Westnedge in front of Kohl's, and see for yourself how they can help you at the Good Feet store. Tell them I sent you. The Senate race is really heating up here in Michigan. The primary is Republicans try and grab hold of that. We we're just talking about this. Democrats in Tennessee, they lost a race that maybe could have been closer, at least at the way things look last night. But they've been doing a lot of this lately, put a very radical candidate up. All 3 of the folks running for Senate here as Democrats on the other side of the aisle, very radical as well, as it appears. So as it stands for us to put somebody up who's truth, logic, common sense, and going to excite people here in Michigan, it really seems to be the key. She says she's the one for the job. Genevieve Peter Scott joins us right now, and we appreciate you taking the time to be here with us today.
Thanks so much, Justin. It's great to see you again.
Absolutely, you too. So I got to ask, and I do everyone, what was it that initially that really urged you, that you said, look, this is a big issue. We've had Democrats in these seats for far too long, and I got to get involved.
Yeah, so I've been in this fight for 4 decades, and just fighting for America, our liberties, our freedoms. And when President Trump became president in 2016, I felt like we had another chance at America getting back to our founding fathers, getting back to a constitutional republic. And when he got elected again in 2020 and that whole fiasco, we had to sit on our hands. There was so much disaster that was happening in the White House. And then when he got reelected in 2024, and again, the people that are not supporting America or America First were totally demonizing our president and everything that he was doing that we all voted for. I said, you know what? I have been, on the front lines of this fight. I've been behind the scenes of this fight. And now I need to join him in this fight.
Yeah, that's a very good point. We need somebody who's going to work with the president. We're sending people to Washington. We see how 26 is going to be so important. 24 was important to get him there. 26 is going to be important to not only keep him there, but make sure that his agenda can have the full chance. Because we have a little bit of time to get things through in this term here. And that agenda, they're making massive changes, and lots of really great things are happening so far. But boy, you got to make sure that agenda stays on track. That's a good one.
Well, that's exactly right. And it's so important, because what the Senate can do, what Congress can do, is actually start codifying more of these executive orders. So what's happening right now is that our president is doing everything that we voted for. He's literally taking on every big institution. He's taking on every bit of the alphabet agencies. He's really exposing what has not been done for so many years. And these executive orders, what we definitely want your listeners to realize is they're only effective for the federal government and federal agencies. And what Congress, the Senate, and the House of Representatives must do is codify these. Because the next person is, God forbid, it's not someone that, supports America First, can completely eliminate and rescind all of his executive orders, which is, thank goodness, what President Trump is doing right now to rescind all of President Biden's orders, they can do the same for his. So we've got to get in there. And as the next United States Senator, I am a fighter with grit and heart from Detroit, born and raised. And I will make sure that I work with all people to make sure that these executive orders that are so critical to moving America first and forward are codified and created into law. And that's the job of these representatives, House of Representatives, senators, and they're basically sitting back right now. You know, they codified 28 of our president's executive orders with the big, beautiful bill. And that's just the beginning. He has now over 250 executive orders that need to be codified, and we need to prioritize them. We need to have a legislative priority, and we need to sit down and we need to solve problems, and we need to work and represent the people of Michigan.
I couldn't agree more. Genevieve Peter Scott is here with us right now. GPSforsenate.com, the website. Running for Senate here in Michigan as a Republican. And I've got to ask you, you very much align with and support President Trump, but you don't have his endorsement. Now, I imagine that this number of reasons for this, but a lot of it is probably because Mike Rogers announced early and secured that endorsement early, and this was before that you'd probably even announced. But walk us through how that challenge plays out and how you plan to address it.
Yeah, thank you. So endorsements in Michigan really don't mean a whole lot. We're very independent thinkers. We want to make sure that the people that are elected are actually people light and salt of the earth for Michiganders, not someone that was handpicked. And although our president has every right to put his endorsement as early as he did, we believe, and I'm a firm believer that the amazing people in Michigan want to see who's actually running and who's going to actually serve them best. And unfortunately for President Trump, he's 1-11 with his endorsements. And in all reality, and this is just a fact, the opponent that ran last time, he had Trump's endorsement and he was on the ticket with Trump, and he still lost.
Genevieve Peter Scott, GPSforsenate.com is the website. So what are you hearing from people? I know you're out there talking to folks. You're out there doing all the events and meeting people. What are you hearing are the biggest stories for folks right now? The things that are really the most important to people?
Well, I think again, we don't want to spend, $8 for eggs. We don't want to decide between buying meat or paying our electric bill. We want our young people to be able to have home ownership. We want to be able to build businesses and not have, stranglehold of regulations. We want our families respected. We want to be able to choose to raise our families as we choose, not by any mandates. These are the things that people are concerned about. They don't, they're frustrated with all of this spending, all of this waste, fraud, and abuse. The fact that we have the incredible debt, these are things that affect everyday Americans, everyday people in this great state of Michigan. They have to count on the people that are representing them. And unfortunately, they're losing trust. And that's a problem. We cannot allow people that we elect to go up to Washington and not serve the people. That is what our founding fathers created our Constitution for, is not to give us our rights, but protect our rights. And that's what I plan on doing when I go up to Washington as the next United States Senator from Michigan.
I got to ask you, Genevieve Peter Scott with us right now, running for Senate here in Michigan. One of the questions that you might have to address here as a senator from Michigan would be this filibuster. There's been a lot of talk about this lately, to get rid of it in order to be able to push things through quickly, as you just mentioned, to codify some of those things in the president's agenda. Where do you stand on that?
I think that the filibuster comes and goes, as we all know. It's something that was created by, obviously, the legislature. And I think that the president has so many things. So obviously, as you know, Justin, the process is so arduous. And we also have to look at that, that to even get a bill passed, there's so many levers and layers that the legislature has to go through. And right now, there's so many things that have to be backtrack. There's so many things that have to be put in place. And now that we have a president with the kind of spine and the kind of iron spine that he has, and the ability to take on the powerful and take on the deep state and take on people that just are waiting for the next president to come in, we actually need to do something about that. So that's something that I absolutely will look at and want to examine. There's pros and cons, obviously, for the filibuster. Obviously, a 60 vote makes it a little bit more ironclad to make sure everyone's on board. But in this day and age and what we have to deal with right now, Justin, it looks more likely that killing the filibuster is the answer for right now.
Yeah. I appreciate the candidness on that. Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I've looked at this as well, and, they're going to do it. Democrats get control, they're going to do it. Yep. So we might as well take a look at it as well. Genevieve Peter Scott. And look, folks want to find out probably more about you, who you are, and maybe even where they can meet you and ask you questions in person, shake your hand. What's the best way for them to do that? I know you've got the great website, gpsforsenate.com, events and the like, and maybe to stay in touch.
Yeah, absolutely. We would love for them to reach out so that we can get them on our mailing list. We can let them know all of our events and things that what we're doing. We're speaking. We've been all over the state. We continue to go all over the state. We love meeting you. We love being, where you're at to see exactly what's on your mind. And that's how representative government works. I can't represent people in a state if I don't meet them and talk to them and see what their concerns are. And that's exactly what I want to do. I am guided by truth. I'm driven to serve, and I am absolutely answerable to each and every one of the people of this great state.
Genevieve Peter Scott, always a pleasure. Thank you for taking the time to speak to the folks here in Michigan. Well, very good. We'll have to have you back. We'll have you back when you get a chance to come back and talk about these issues. But we really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Love it. Thanks so much, Justin. God bless you.
You too. All right, folks, we're rolling right ahead. By the way, I mentioned I got good news. We've had some bad news previously with that closure of the ramp, 96 to 131 there. Closure until April 30th because of that semi accident yesterday. We'll have the latest on traffic for you coming up as well. But I wanted to make sure we hit this story because this is good news. Put you right in your feels when we come back. Don't go anywhere.
Wherever you are, stream us on your smartphone. It's West Michigan Live with Justin Barkley on News Radio Wood 1300 and 106.9 FM.
Here are your headlines from the Midwesterner this Wednesday, December 3rd. I'm Robin Poffman. It's a Midwesterner.news original story. Former U.S. Ambassador to Ukraine, Bridget Brink, who recently moved to Lansing, is receiving significant support in her Democrat bid to unseat Republican Congressman Tom Barrett. Filings show the majority of money coming in is from other states, including Utah. Brink serving as President Biden's ambassador to Ukraine from 2022 to April of 2025. In other news, border czar Tom Homan says he'll be sending ICE agents to Minneapolis, where there's a huge scandal unfolding involving Somalis. It involves a ton of COVID-related money that was apparently funneled back to a terrorist group in Somalia. President Trump says those here illegally must be deported.
These aren't people that work. These aren't people that say, let's go, come on, let's make this place great. These are people that do nothing but complain.
For these stories and more, visit the Midwesterner at themidwesterner.news.
It's Blaine's Farm and Fleet's Black Friday Extended event. Now through Wednesday, shop extended Black Friday savings store-wide, up to 50% off or more while supplies last. Like 40 people.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, folks, for being here with us. The fastest hour in radio is flying by. He says, hey, if you kill the filibuster, that can turn around and bite you. I get that, but I think they're going to do it anyway. I think when they get control, they're going to. They've talked about it. They talked about it last night. They want to kill the filibuster. They want to pack the Supreme Court. It's going to be an issue. It's going to be an issue. All right, folks, stand by. We are back on the air in just 60 seconds. Da, 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 da. Hey, don't forget, it's Black Friday, still underway for My Pure Health Solutions. You've seen my results. I'm starting a whole new phase after the first of the year. To come down almost 30 now. My wife's 23. I got to do the math on mine. But I don't even pay attention to the scale as much as I do. How great the clothes are fitting that I had to go out and get some new ones as well. And this is a whole other thing, which is just incredible. It's the energy, just feeling so much better. By the way, Black Friday prices, the best prices of the year. And you can get going whenever you want. Lock in today. They'll even let you have some payment options as well. But lock in today, and you can join me in January if you want. Healthwithjustin.com. Do it at healthwithjustin.com. Go check it out. Missy and the crew, Maha Missy. We'll be talking to her a little bit later on today. Stand by, folks. Back on air. Full speed ahead. Here we go. I got to tell you, the fastest hour on radio just flies by each and every day. Never enough time to get to it all, but we've got more coming up. And I do have some good news before we get out of here. The after show is on the way. We'll make sure we fill you in on the latest, this whole affordability issue. Scott Adams has some interesting points about what Trump's doing with that affordability issue, and you got to hear this. We'll get into that and more in minutes. But first, thanks to the folks at Talon Wealth, guardingyournestegg.com. Mike Lester and the team taking a look at the markets today. No matter what they're doing, by the way, they're up, they're down, you got green or red on the screen. You're going to feel so much better. You won't feel nauseous on that roller coaster ride as President tries to get things back on track. We're a little mixed this morning. Stocks fall just a little bit as Wall Street weighs. Job loss data. Microsoft drops a few other November private payrolls unexpectedly falling by 32,000. Some jobs, small business job cuts from ADP. Some of those things baking in and figuring out where things are going. Look, it's okay. Understandable. Some of these things you're going to be up and down. You're going to be, but if you have a plan and you've taken the holistic approach, right? Like Mike Lester and the team do at Talon Wealth, and you're going to feel better, you're going to sleep better at night. And of course, you'll be able to weather the storm. No matter whether you want to retire today, tomorrow, 10, 20 years down the road. Mike Lester and the team can help you get there when you want to get there. Guardingyournestegg.com. You can call them 616-661-1000, 616-661-1000. Or again, go online to guardingyournestegg.com. Now, I got to tell you this story. This is an incredible story, by the way. I don't know if you saw the guy. This is a veteran, 88 years old. There's a splash been made on social media for this guy. In fact, I sent this off to a friend, somebody that's got a little pull, a little sway in situations, and he gave me some background on it, which I couldn't believe. Something that I heard. This guy, he works at a Meijer here in Michigan, and I thought really interesting story. The guy has, you've probably been through this yourself or know somebody is, but he's been through the ringer. In fact, lost his pension years ago, worked for GM. And this guy interviews him and asks him.
Thank you. What was your name?
Ed.
I'm Sam.
Okay.
I actually had someone nominate you from this store and said you're very hardworking.
Well, I try to be.
May I ask how old you are?
I'm 88.
And still working?
Yes, I have to.
Why?
The story's heartbreaking, by the way.
Do you have to keep working?
Retired from General Motors in 99. 2012, I went bankrupt, and they took my pension away from me.
Oh my gosh. Do you have a wife?
She passed away 7 years ago.
7 years ago.
She was sick when I lost my pension.
So you've been struggling a bit?
A little bit.
You said that you lost your pension?
Yes, sir, I did. I was in the Army back in 66.
So you're a veteran too?
Yes. The thing that hurt me the most was my wife was real sick. And they, when they took the pension, they also took the health care coverage.
Yeah.
And all but $10,000 of my life insurance.
Oh my gosh.
So I sold the house, sold the property I had, and we made it through. My wife died 7 years ago. Since then, I've been trying to reestablish myself.
And you're working here how many days a week?
I work 5 days a week, 8 hours a day.
And you do that because you have to, or?
Yeah, I don't have enough income.
What's your dream?
To live somewhat the life I was hoping for.
You know, his story has captivated people on social media. He's 88 years old. He's a veteran. Ed works at the Meijer in Brighton, by the way. He took that job after being retired for more than a decade to help pay his bills. And, of course, you heard the story about his wife there as well. By the way, this story come out of the blue. He said, out of the clear blue. I really, truly mean that. He said about all the sudden attention. The video of him working at the job has been viewed nearly 4 million times on TikTok, just one of the places, and all over in other places as well. And they set up a GoFundMe for the guy. And from what I understand, and I'll put this up if you wanna contribute to it, but I'll put it up online. I'm kind of blown away by what they were able to accomplish. I think the latest I read was over $1 million. I think it was over $1 million that they had raised for. Is that right? Holy smokes! And I got that. By the way, I got that information with somebody the last name of Meyer told me that, which it's just pretty incredible. So if you'd like to help Ed, I think he's probably doing all right now, but you can. But I just wanted to share the story with you because that's one that'll give you some of those warm and fuzzies, especially this time of year when we can use them. The after show is on the way, folks. The show after the show. That story and the rest in our stack today at justinbarclay.com. Join us online. You listen to the after show, Facebook, Twitter, X, Rumble, Getter, Locals, YouTube, and, of course, my favorite, the iHeartRadio app, wherever you download your podcast. Make it a great one, folks. God bless. All righty then. Yeah, he's got $1 million. That's enough to retire. You think? Maybe. For 88, probably. Yeah, probably so. Let's click a few buttons and we'll get the after show rolling and going. What a great story. Just shows you, I just kind of restores your faith in humanity a little bit, doesn't it? I know. All right, here we go. Get ready to strap in. It's going to be a heck of a ride. It's like drinking from a fire hose. Never a dull moment, but yes, you'll hear the stories you won't hear anywhere else, and we appreciate you being here with us for them today. I'm Justin Barclay. Here we go with the after show, the show after the show, folks. That's why we call it the after show. Never enough time. We got all these stories to get through, and we put them up every day on the stack at justinbarclay.com so you can sift through them if you want to get a chance to go and share. But we also created this show to spend a little more time walking through some of them. And by the way, while you're at justinbarclay.com, go check out everything in the store, 25% off. All the tees, the One Nation Under God tees, the hoodies, not far right so far, the Gulf of America. I mean, we even have beach bags. The full around and find out mugs and more. It's all inside the store, by the way. Let's just go through a look at some of these things, maybe some things that I've forgotten about here. But yeah, look at that coffee mug, the camping mug might be my favorite. Yeah, we get the alligator Alcatraz stuff, the Freedom Fam gear. Oh, and the original that started it all. I need new conspiracy theories. All of mine have come true. So you get a chance to grab all of this. There's our Gulf of America beach bag. Yes. Perfect for the lake or the Gulf, no matter where you're at. And all of this is, again, at justinbarclay.com. You'll be able to get 25% off on all of it when you go. Use the promo code Xmas, XMAS 25. That's Xmas 25 at justinbarclay.com. And in the shop, folks, we'd love for you to get some great gear. Great gear inside. All right, speaking of gears, let's switch gears and get into what is happening with affordability. I told you about this earlier. I think this is going to be one of the bigger sticking points, one of the things that Democrats are going to try to nail Trump with. And it's all their fault, by the way. They are absolutely brilliant. Diabolical is probably the best word for this. Scott Adams says the issue of affordability, that word, it's all the Democrats have working for them, Scott says. And Trump, busy yesterday in that marathon cabinet meeting that went so long, taking the power out of it. Affordability is a Democrat scam. Now, listen, don't hear what he's not saying. I talked about this earlier. You got to listen for exactly what he says here. We'll take a listen to this video.
But the word affordability is a Democrat scam. They say it, and then they go into the next subject, and everyone thinks, oh, they had lower prices. No, they had the worst inflation in the history of our country. But the word... This is what he means, because they're going to take this out of context. I guarantee that when he says stuff like this, they always love to run with it. But they'll take it out of context. They'll say, yeah, he says that, in fact, you can't afford this, that, and the other thing is a scam. That's not what he's saying. What he's saying, the scam is that they're pointing the finger at him. Same with the Epstein files. You look at the hoax wording. The hoax was that they were implicating him. The scam here is that they're implicating him. No, he's fixing the problems. You know, all this that you've had to deal with, all of the prices of everything, gas, groceries, all of them. Remember the $8 eggs and the rest of it? Yeah, all of that was because of Democrats, Biden, and inflation, driving prices through the roof. And he, in the short amount of time that he's had, has so far been able to bring prices down in a lot of ways. And I tell you, the gas price, we played all of it yesterday. But the gas prices are a major piece of this. Gas for the first time below $3 a gallon. CNN has to be forced to cover it for the first time in 4.5 years. That includes Biden's time, by the way. That's why it was so high. And yet they were forced to cover it all. Here they are.
Gas prices below $3 for the first time in years. Let's get to CNN's Matt Egan for the good news on this.
Yeah, absolutely. It's nice to finally be here with some good news on the cost of living front. So for the first time in 4.5 years, gas prices are averaging $3 a gallon nationally, according to AAA, down by 7 cents in just the past week. Gas prices were low a year ago as well, but they're even cheaper now. This is encouraging to see because late last month there was a period where gas prices were actually higher this year than last year, but that has reversed again, and now we've just fractions of a penny away from breaking below $3 a gallon. Now, as you mentioned, we've got 20 states across the country where the average is actually less than $2.75 a gallon, including North Carolina, South Carolina, Texas, Iowa, Wisconsin, and Colorado as well. Certainly nice to see this. Why is this happening? Well, it all comes down, of course, to oil prices, right? Oil prices are about $59 a barrel.
Now they're going to say it's OPEC. And why did the OPEC do it for Trump and they didn't do it for Biden? What do you think? We had that whole conversation yesterday. It's pretty obvious. A woman freaking out when she discovers gas prices below $2 a gallon.
The gas was $1.82.
I can't.
And I just paid under $16 for the gas.
Now, I think I did get gas under $2 a gallon, but it was by using like the Meyer Imperks, and you get like $1 off per gallon. Just kind of cheating, right? That's not really, I can't remember last time I saw it that low. Oklahoma, in that area, you will find some cheap gas. I think I saw it in Oklahoma or Texas. One of the kids the other day had it for $1.99 or something. That's incredible. Now, you won't see that in Michigan. We're going to have 50-cent gas tax on every gallon starting in January, but our gas prices will be lower. In fact, they already are. I told you that expensive gas station I drive past every day. $1. It was $1.80, and the store across the street, they were at $1.80, and then these guys decided we're going to go $1.79. And then again, that's all psychological, right? But that is one of the big, and it'll be a big one. It'll be a big one. It's psychological. But it's very important because it is something that people look to and they say, okay, what is Trump really doing for me? What is Trump really doing for me? And you may not love everything, right? There may be things that you say, I just don't know. But the tariffs, this whole scam that the tariffs were going to hurt us and all that, it just hasn't been the case. It really hasn't been the case. I've yet to find something that I've really been hurt. Well, the tariffs, something that really cost me an arm and a leg that I can't afford anymore, or something that really, that really hurt me. That tariffs is the culprit. Now, there are companies that are upset, and I understand that because, look, it's tough to do business. I get it either way. I mean, you each just in every day, you're on your feet, toes, trying to make sure that you got everything I's dotted, T's crossed, et cetera. So there are people and businesses that tariffs impact and that they do hurt. So I will admit that. But on the whole, Trump is doing this in order, he claims, to make sure that they can renegotiate these trade deals. And I think that helps us in a completely different way. We have to right the ship. And what's interesting, I watch this tariff talk when it comes to the taxes. Trump has made the case that he's going to be able to get rid of income taxes. He's going to be able to completely get rid of income taxes at some point, possibly. No, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how that all plays out. But could you imagine if they were really able to do that? If they were really able to do that, the kind of impact that would have on the economy, it would be astounding. What that would do for folks, what that would do for your economy, just for you. Can you imagine? Sean says, so far Trump hasn't squeezed our budget. Yeah, I haven't seen it yet either.
And I believe that at some point in the not too distant future, you won't even have income tax to pay because the money we're taking in is so great, it's so enormous that you're not going to have income tax to pay. Whether you get rid of it or just keep it around for fun or have it really low, much lower than it is now, but you won't be paying income tax. We've slashed $1 trillion.
Yeah, we're not even a full year in, by the way. So just remember, these things, lot of them are moving quicker than we thought they would, but also you have to remember that over time, it takes time. It takes time. So what does that look like? What does that look like if that actually goes into effect? And the DOGE checks or the tariffs checks, that's a whole nother piece of it. They say we could be possibly getting. I don't know. I've looked at this. On this. This is the problem. I have my ideologies, right? And you got to understand this. Really, in order for you to really think critically about everything, you have your ideologies, your preferences. Now, I lean conservative, but also libertarian, right? I want less government. That's like my preference. Less government. I really don't want a lot of government intervention,
in a lot of things, right? But I have to take my ideas out of the classroom, which is sometimes I think the problem that libertarians like bump up against. Especially like when you're voting for candidates that have no chance of ever getting elected, you're taking votes away. And I think especially at this point, it's important for us to note we're not playing like, oh well, I'm being strategic. I'm being strategic with my vote right now for a libertarian instead of voting for a Republican who may not be perfect and maybe even far from perfect. Like, let's be honest, folks. Trump is far from perfect. You could daily look at him, and I know he wouldn't love to hear me say this, but you could look at him and you could say, I don't like this about him, I don't like that about him, I don't like it. Far from the personality and the Trump derangement syndrome issues. But he's the best we got, number one. And number two, he's doing a pretty good job. You got to give him credit. And this is, I know it's a low bar, but this is the bar. He doesn't hate our country. He doesn't hate our country. That's what we're up against. I think a lot of people probably have lost sight of that. We're not talking about like the two parties that you're voting for. People want bigger government versus smaller government. We're not talking about the differences in party at that point anymore. What we're talking about is people that love the country and people that hate the country. That's the difference. That's the truth, logic, common sense. That's the reasonable or not. That's where we are. So you gotta make that point to tell you there are a number of things that Trump has done, the president has done that have made massive impact. Number one, I would say, is immigration. That border is closed. You have to cut. First of all, if you got a boat that's leaking, you gotta go ahead and seal that thing up right away. And that's what he did. Number one, first day. No more masses of people flocking into the country, caravans coming from all over. So he cut that off. Number two, going after those people. Tough on crime and also on those criminal illegals, going after those people that are in the country. We got to get them out. Same issue with the fentanyl coming across in the drug boats and the narco terrorists and God knows what else they're doing in Venezuela. All those things. Same thing with what they're doing right now. He's cutting it off. Then you go through and you work on the other issues. And by the way, this is massive because the Biden administration and probably people that it would have been other sort of limp-wristed Republicans that didn't have the cojones, the huevos rancheros to get the job done, they would have never done any of these. That was just problem's too big. I just don't think there's not much we could do. You know, there's only so much, all of that. You take a look at what this actually does, and you got a person who's willing to take action. It's a game changer. There's really no other way to put it. So, and that's just a couple of things. By the way, I mean, that's just beginning to scratch the surface. Do I love everything that he does? No, but I won't love everything that anyone does. You have to realize this. You're not going to. There is no perfect candidate. There's no perfect person. There was only one of them. And he laid down his life for us. Because we'll never be perfect. That's why we needed him to do it. And so, look, we could talk about this till we're blue in the face. But this affordability issue that Scott Adams mentions that President Trump is trying to take the air out of, I think we're seeing it. I think it's going to happen. But the messaging is important and the action is important. So you've got gas prices. The other thing that's going to be big is energy. Folks, I'm telling you, at some point, they're trying this. We've seen last night and tonight over where we are in Lowell, they're trying to put this data center in. I heard a quote on TV. They played on the air earlier, just made my skin crawl. The guy was saying, well, you know, these guys are going to pay. They're going to pay for their energy. It's not going to impact your bill at all. That is a lie. There's just absolutely no way that these data centers, no matter where they're going to be, are going to not affect your bill. It's supply and demand. We're going to see energy power usage through the roof and the likes that we've never seen before. It's going to make the demand go up. Some days they won't be able to even meet it. At the same time, we got a group suing over the Campbell plant, the coal plant over on the lakeshore right now. They're suing the Trump administration because the Trump administration put out an executive order, keep that thing open. We're going to need it. The ultimate answer from everything I've heard is modular nuclear. But I think until we get to the point where we have set up modular nuclear for all of these places and maybe even in your own neighborhood, maybe we'll get to a point where you can have your own. I don't know. But until we get to that point, I think it's going to be everything and all hands on deck. It's going to be the coal. It's going to be the nuclear. It's going to be the natural gas. There might be some wind and solar that makes sense in some places. I don't know that it makes a whole lot of sense here. But that's another reason why your electric bill's gone up, because they put all this investment into the climate scam throughout the years for the wind, solar, and unicorn farts, and you know how effective that's been. That's an absolute disaster. Even so much to the point, again, we said this the other day, but it's true. But your boy Bill Gates came out, and Bill Gates said, well, I don't know. I'm kind of backing down on that.
How dare you?
Bill Gates backing down on the climate scam. This is a guy that wanted to blot out the sun at one point. Hello? So the energy issue is going to be the next big piece. That's the next big piece people are going to be watching. How does it all play out? And I'm seeing it in some places. You're looking at bills, $500 a month for some small apartments, and in some places. Like how do you make that work? How do you make that work for people? I mean, they can't afford anything. And water's going to be the next piece. Why? Good question. Because all these data plants, they all need to soak up and suck up all this water. They're going to need to soak up and suck up all this water to get it done. There's just no way of getting around it. They have to have it to operate. And you could make the case, and I think they partially will, but you could make the case that it's a national security issue. So keep that in mind. Food's going to be always an issue. We're going to be watching what happens to the food costs. Obviously they're gonna try everything they can in the next year or so to stop Trump, because they realize if they can stop you. They can throw every monkey wrench they have at us, and you know what happens. You know what happens from there. On the Benny Show yesterday, Senator Ron Johnson talking about the CIA. We were talking about Venezuela and why we're really bombing those boats and some of the other things that are happening. Why we're surrounding Venezuela. Well, I don't say it to Mark, by the way. I don't say any of this to scare you. I say it to prepare you. And by the way, to folks that are the praying kind, this is something that we need to continue to fight against. When you get President Trump in office, it wasn't the end. It was just the beginning of the fight. Speaking of the fight, Venezuela, the CIA, their role in rigging elections all over the country. Senator Ron Johnson from Wisconsin.
There's massive fraud. I mean, I'm listening to apparently a former CIA operative talking about how they shave votes, not in Democrat counties. They'll shave a few percent using the machines in Republican counties where people aren't really suspecting it, where the vote total should have been 60%, but it's only 58%. Again, I don't know how they do it exactly, but I do know that we don't even come close to investigate voter fraud or welfare fraud. We don't put anywhere near the amount of effort that we should be putting into this.
Well, Senator, you just broke some huge news there. You're listening to
Do you have a CIA whistleblower that is saying
No,
that they're?
and again, is this true? Again, you hear all these things. This is on podcasts. Some apparently CIA operative who's. Let's face it. I believe the CIA has doctored elections in other countries. That's probably indisputable.
Yes.
Those same types of operations, do those occur here in America? My guess is they do. Do I have hard evidence? No. But again, we just don't investigate it. The people, we're all harmed by it. But for example, the losing candidate, they don't have the funds. We don't have the time yet to certify these elections. So election fraud goes largely uninvestigated. We uncover, again, in your earlier segment, 500 phony registrations. It's just the tip of the iceberg.
Just the tip of the iceberg. You're hearing these stories start to trickle out now. Why is it important? Because at some point, the average person needs to hear this. At some point, the average person needs to be educated on what is actually happening. And they need to see what's really going on out there. If they can, you can see these things going on. You'll be able to actually, you'll be able to get the scoop on it all. By the way, hoaxes won't stop. That's a whole nother thing. This is Jesse Waters. I think he was on the 5 the other day, talking about all the hoaxes we've seen in 2025 alone. Listen to this add up.
These are the hoaxes the Democrats have perpetrated. I'm looking at you, Jessica, just since Trump's been sworn in the second time. The MRI hoax, the Coke boat hoax, the Maryland dad hoax, the bombs didn't target and blow up the Iranian nuclear mountain hoax, the illegals don't get free health care hoax, the MAGA guy killed Charlie Kirk hoax, the Musk is stealing our Social Security hoax, and Antifa isn't real hoax. Now, I just came up with that off the top of my head. If I was a Democrat, let me just cross my legs. If I were a Democrat, I would be embarrassed. I'm drinking from a straw, too. I would be embarrassed because you're so wrong for so long. How do you live with yourself, Jessica? How do you live with yourself? Now, Jessica doesn't fall for it all, maybe half. But here's the difference between how Fox and the rest of the press covers these presidents. Fox would just point a camera at stuff. We would just point a camera at the border. We'd point the camera at crime. We'd point it to Biden falling asleep and falling. And that's all you had to do was just show people what was happening. We didn't have to lie. We didn't have to leak. We didn't have to just the rank speculation. And that's the difference. And that's why people don't read the Washington Post anymore. No one watches CNN. The messed up part is they don't really care if the MRI was clean. They don't care about the president's health. They care about this president's health, and they want it to be bad. Yeah. They don't want him healthy. They're looking for a scandal that's going to be covered up. Think about Biden was coughing, he was frail, he was forgetful, and they loved it until he bombed the debate. And then they tossed him overboard. And the guy now has cancer, and they hate him. And why do they hate him? Because he ran for president again. And why did he run for president again, Jessica? Because he knew Kamala couldn't win. And you know what? He was right.
Hoax after hoax after hoax. You're going to continue to get them. You're going to, this is the playbook. This is how it works. But we're doing our best to disclose them. Pull the curtain back on them every day, and you're seeing more and more of that happening each and every day. In fact, the other one the other day that it was so quick, and it was the Secretary of War. Yeah, it was the boats hoax. That whole thing, it happened so quickly. They folded so quickly on it. I've never seen anything like it. It was just like within hours. That's how fast things are moving now, by the way. Speaking of moving, wheeling and dealing, the president doing so much. We just heard yesterday. I want to get into this latest. The Trump checks for the kids and the latest big $1,000. Got a big announcement for you coming up in just a little bit. Cyber Monday, Black Friday sales continue. By the way, over at mypillow.com/Justin, mystore.com/Justin. Past year has been one of the hardest in My Pillow's history. I don't know if I have to tell you, you've probably been paying attention. to what Mike has had to go. I mean, they've come after him for everything. But it's because of you that they're making it through. You know, Mike's standing for this country, standing each and every one of us, our kids, each and every day. And I tell you, we ought to support him. And he wants to thank us for that support. You've been a part of this. Your continued support as well. Passing on some Christmas specials for listeners right now. You get the children's Bible story pillows. By the way, I literally just ordered these. There's a 5-pack for $29.98. Now, they make great gifts. So think about this. You got some kids or some grandkids that would love these, and maybe you want to give one to somebody who could use a little faith. Maybe somebody doesn't know the Lord yet. This is a good way to introduce it to them. The kids' Bible story pillows. There's a 5-pack for $29.98. My kids are going to love this. They know the stories we've been reading. My little girl's, my oldest, got more Bible in her than most adults. She can tell you all the stories. And of course, she wants to read her Bible. And by read, she's got one with pictures. So we pull it down and look at it. But this is a great way to make sure that you constantly and continue to really fill them with that truth. It's the first part of Truth, Logic, and Common Sense, right? The 5-pack for just $29.98. They've got My Slippers with a free bottle of leather protected for $39.98. Blankets, comforters, duvets, and more for as low as $25. And a blowout sale on the standard My Pillows, just $14.98. It's all happening right now inside the sale at mypillow.com, mystore.com/Justin. Use the promo code Justin, help support Mike, and save. Go to mypillow.com, mystore.com/Justin. Take advantage of all the wholesale prices, including the standard size MyPillow, originally $49.98, now only $14.98. Queens, $18.99. Kings, only $1 more. You know that MyPillow products come with a 10-year warranty, but MyPillow has just announced that they're extending their 60-day money-back guarantee. That's right. Orders placed between now and December 25th will have their 60-day money-back guarantee extended through March 1st of 2026. mypillow.com/Justin, mystore.com/Justin, the way to get in and help support Mike and this program. Every time you buy anything from MyPillow, you help support this program as well. I've been seeing a lot about this in the last couple of days, and it is good news. I'm seeing the $1,000 checks come out. We talked about this. Trump wants to give those checks to kids and obviously help them build a future for investments. We saw Michael Dell yesterday talking about this, and these checks are starting to make, people are actually starting to talk about some of this stuff. And I think it's making people think in a different way. You just need to have a way to get people started, to get them thinking about this. And a lot of people think about it. You got $1,000 for your kids. You got $1,000 for your kids to be able to start some sort of investment. No, a lot of people don't just have money sitting around like that. So here's how the math works. Trump accounts can grow, they say, to $191,000 from age 0 to 18. Then over to $2 million up to retirement. The maximum contributions up to $5,000 a year if you do that. You could start with a seed money. There's $1,000 for Trump. Michael Dell, I think, $250, and it helps teach American kids about saving very early, and the government can't touch the money. You don't even need to make the $5,000 max to get a huge benefit from this. I mean, just let it ride. It's an incredible idea. Think about how you can help the next generation. I mean, this is massive moving forward.
Sense of where this goes from 0 to 2.25 million over the course of 60 years. That's a pretty nice nest egg for retirement if people continue to put into it. Your thoughts on this account?
Well, you know, on Fox Business, we talk all the time about the importance of time in the market. Start saving early. Teach kids why investing is so important.
Sense of where this
it's massive. You talk about the The difference that you can make, and it doesn't take a lot. It doesn't take a lot, but folks are now starting to look at what do we need to do to. I mean, you're talking about dramatically change what's happening in this country. Coming up afterwards, we're going to record a special segment with our good friend Maha Missy. We got big Maha news we got to talk about, but just so you know, the Black Friday pricing is still underway, but only until Friday. If you want to join me in my next phase of the program, I got big goals, folks, and this has been a wake up year for me, and I decided to get things back on track and down nearly 30 pounds already. Lizzie's down 23 pounds, but I guess I said that earlier. I really mean this. It's not the scale. It's not the scale as much as it is how the clothes fit, but more importantly, how good I feel, the energy that I have. And I'm not the only one, folks. You go to healthwithjustin.com. You'll see my results, but you're going to see the results of the other folks who've joined us too, and the many, many folks that have joined Maha Missy and her team at My Pure Health Solutions. Healthwithjustin.com. Trucker Randy, Steve Groover, they've all joined us. They've all been in this program, and they all seen great results. I mean, Trucker Randy, like, darn near lost over like 100 pounds. It's incredible. Healthwithjustin.com. But what you need to do now is lock in your pricing. You can use this for any time. So if you say, I want to get through the holiday season, let me just one last hurrah. Let me get through the holiday season. And I'll join you, Justin, at the beginning of the year. Fine. Do that. Lock in the lowest prices of the year right now when you go to healthwithjustin.com and schedule a call with Maha Missy. She'd love to walk you through what they're doing and how they're helping people right and left all over the country now at My Pure Health Solutions. That's healthwithjustin.com. All right, hang on, folks. We're going to wrap this show and come back, and Missy joins us next right here. So don't go anywhere. Get ready to strap in. It's going to be a heck of a ride. It's like drinking from a fire hose. Never a dull moment, but yes, you'll hear the stories you won't hear anywhere else, and we appreciate you being here with us for them today. I'm Justin Barclay. Yeah, welcome into the Maha Missy Health Report. We're making America healthy again. Missy's got a couple of stories we're going to walk through today, but big ones. In fact, we talk a little bit about what that actually means, making America healthy again. My latest results and my wife and how well we've done on this incredible program, but also some of the big things happening behind the scenes in the swamp that you may not hear anywhere else. Healthwithjustin.com to find out more about the program. But first, Missy joining us with the latest. Missy, thank you so much for being here with us. And of course, as I say, like I like to say, it's never a dull moment.
Never, not with Trump in office. I like it.
Have you had?
We voted for this, right?
Amen. Hey, did you have a happy Thanksgiving? By the way, I have to ask you.
Oh man, I had a great Thanksgiving. I got a chance to travel out to another part of the country called Texas, and got to see a lot of what we don't see in Michigan, and it was awesome. Wondered why I live in Michigan when I come back.
Did you see the gas prices below $2 a gallon there?
Oh yeah,
That's incredible.
Yeah, and then I come back to my town. I've conspiracy theory always in my Battle Creek town. Battle Creek, Michigan, we've always had more. Our gas has always been more expensive. You drive 10 miles that way, 10 miles that way, and it's always like 10 cents cheaper a gallon. I'm like, why us? I don't get it, but I'm all.
That is fantastic. Hey, by the way, I've got folks that are watching right now. Mike just logged in. He said, by the way, I've signed up, and the wife and I start with My Pure Health Solutions and in March. So congratulations.
Nice. It gives me goosebumps. I get so excited.
I have a friend, and you'll know who I'm talking about. He's an author. He's a friend, and in fact, we were trading some text messages back in Thanksgiving, and he was telling me how much he's lost and how good he feels. The thing that we talked about, and we'll dig into this a little bit later, but is that point of we just don't realize how good we can feel until we start making some of these changes, simple changes. And that's one of the things that I think I'm most excited about is how well I feel, the energy that I have. This guy was elated. He said, I even made it through Thanksgiving. It was a little different, but I loved it. I said, good for you, man.
I gotta text him. I gotta find out how he. That is awesome. That's awesome.
And again, like I said, you're making sort of like you're making like disciples out. We're out there telling everybody about this. And I love it because the thing is when you start to feel so good, you can't help but share that with everybody.
Absolutely. When you start to glow, people notice it. People they're like, what? You're different. Something's different with you. Yeah. That's cool.
You know how many times I've heard that, and my wife now too, down 23 pounds. She looks great. I had to tell her, I said, honey, by the way, just give yourself some credit. The other day, she finally looked in the mirror and she goes, yeah, I do feel good about this. And sometimes it takes us a little bit longer for that switch to kind of click, but she feels better. The clothes are finished. She's going shopping in her own closet. All right, we'll forget about
it's a real thing, and it happens so fast with us because the thing is, the transformation is so fast because when you're fixing the problem, you should see results fast. When you patch that hole in the roof and it's not snowing in your house anymore, that was fast. I mean, it's the same thing. So it's cool, but then it's really hard for people to wrap their brains around the transformation because only like 20, 30 days ago, they were staring at the image in the mirror for possibly 10 years, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. And now they're not looking the same. It's different. It's been a cycle. There's a lot of psychology that goes with that too.
I love it. Well, let's get into a few of the big stories.
Yeah.
Since we've last talked, there's a couple of them out there. And I think part of this is, some of the questions you mentioned, is this like drinking from a fire hose? There's a lot happening. But there are big changes, shifts happening inside some of the agencies inside the swamp. One of them, RFK Jr., just announced that some of the advisors, they handpicked CDC advisors. And by the way, some of these folks are losing their mind. That's how like real changes are happening. They're losing their minds about some of this. Look at the CNN article, which tells you everything you need to know about how off the charts these guys going right now. Okay. Kennedy's handpicked CDC advisors to weigh major change to childhood vaccine. That's actually kind of a neutral headline for them. People that, like some of these other places that just have massive TDS, they can't handle this. They think it's the end of the world. But this, as you mentioned earlier, this is what a lot of the crunchy Maha moms, this is what we voted for, right?
That's what we voted for. Bring it on. And that's just it. I mean, it's like one of my favorite, him, Lance Wilnow. He said before, he who's at the top of the mountain controls the mountain. So take the mountain that you're designed to take. And so right now, the CDC has been at the top of that mountain and they're controlling everybody. So one entity, one person, and like with you, I mean, you are moving the mountain because you're taking it by what you're doing. You're in the media. Your voice is making a difference. And so right here, we got to topple that group. And so that way we're at the top of the mountain controlling the narrative and the narrative, that's the thing. And because the narrative has been pushed for years that kids need all these vaccines to be, so they don't get all these horrible diseases. Well, right before the show, again, one of the top vaccines that I think that they're targeting is that Hep B vaccine that they get on day one. That is so they don't get sexually transmitted diseases. Well, if the mom knows she doesn't have any sexually transmitted diseases because they've tested her for it, then why does that baby need to have that vaccine that does more than just protect them? It's also going in and destroying healthy tissue, healthy ligaments, because when those chemicals go into the body, they're designed to look for a molecule. They're designed to look to help the body be be more prepared in the event it gets in contact with these diseases, right? Well, when it gets in the body, it's fine. Dr. Sherry Tenpenny did a talk on this. She's she's been a voice for a long time on vaccine damage, and she was. Oh, I could go into a lot of times, a lot of more detail on her, but she did her doctoral thesis years ago, wanting to defend vaccines. She wanted to defend them, and kind of like a person that wants to go in and prove that God doesn't exist. They're an atheist. They turn out to become believers. Same thing happened with her. And she went into the CDC archives years ago, and she had this one idea that she wanted to kind of put to bed, and it was called molecular mimicry. So what she discovered, and the CDC articles were there to prove something that she didn't want to see. Well, the vaccine, the chemicals that are going into the vaccine, what do they do once they're in there? Well, if they can't find said target, they're going to find the next best thing, this molecule that mimics the molecule they're looking for, which happens just to be healthy, live, good tissue and organs and cells that the body desperately needs. And instead, it attacks those. And that is why we have just seen the most dramatic rise in all the things that we've talked about, previous and that you've been talking about on your show. Unfortunately, what happened with Dr. Sherry when she uncovered all this and then she went back to, get the data and everything, the archives, the CDC had scrubbed all those things that she'd found. So that was the beginning of her wake up call. Now she's been 30 years in the march with this, but yeah, it's I'm excited because all I know is my grandchildren aren't gonna be, as time goes on, they're not going to continue to get push this as our kids continue. I mean, it's just going to be a good day. We finally are going to have a chance. We're going to have a chance.
Speaking of which, things are changing. Yesterday, there's a cabinet meeting at the White House there, and the president hearing from folks like DHS Secretary RFK Jr. and ending the war on women, he says.
2 weeks ago, we ended, under your leadership, a 20-year war on women by removing the black box warnings from hormone replacement therapy. The medical cartel was telling women that hormone replacement therapy during menopause was dangerous for them. In fact, here's what the science said. It diminishes the risk of fatal heart attacks by 25%, cardiac disease by 50%, Alzheimer's by 35%, bone fractures by 50 to 60%. It improves appetite, it improves sleep, it improves energy, it improves happiness. There are tens of millions of women in this country have been deprived of that therapy because of scientific malpractice by the medical cartel. We are now remedying that, and this remedy will now be available to all women who want it during one of the most difficult transitions in their lives.
That's incredible.
Oh, tell me about it. Before the show, I'm preparing for, in case anybody, a little sidebar, if any woman wants to avoid hot flashes and the emotional meltdowns that you've been going through, we're doing a Zoom call on that. Call our office if you want to be. We'll give you the Zoom call link next Tuesday at 7:00. And I'm telling you, we're going to be explaining exactly like what he's saying right there. I didn't know he was saying that. I didn't. That's cool. But yeah, we already are addressing this because the science that we use in our office, we're a frequency based office, and that kind of sounds crazy, but it shouldn't. My language should be so common, such a common way. People should talk the way that we talk in our office, but they don't, because the technology that's out there, the science, and Kennedy's talking about, but the science behind a lot of this stuff has been hidden and it's been suppressed, and it's more than just a 20-year thing going on. I mean, yes, it's been at least 20 years, but there's stuff out there. I mean, I have witnessed firsthand women that have been drenched in just body sweat. Justin, you don't know what that is. And Izzy, Lizzie's too young to probably be going through this. But anyways, it's a real thing. I mean, you think you're losing your marbles. I mean, it was horrible. But because of the breakthrough in technology and science and medicine, holistic, not medicine, but holistic, women are literally getting their lives back in less than 30 days. Sometimes it's less than 7 days. Sometimes it's actually within 1 hour. I mean, it's out there. I've watched it firsthand, and it's simple. It's all natural, and these things have been hidden on purpose because they want you depressed. Because if you're depressed, you're going to go on 1 to 2 to 3 different SSRIs for antidepressant, a little bit of anxiety, and then your kids get depressed. I mean, and then you've changed. Everything about you has changed, and you feel like you're going nuts. Oh my God. Like, lab work comes back and the lab say that you're fine, but you know there's something wrong. Us ladies, we've been trying to get the people to listen, but they just haven't listened. And now, again, we're going to be controlling the narrative, which is awesome.
Speaking of the ladies and people actually listening, this one says, hey, listen, folks, especially Republicans, you want to win, especially in 26, bring the Maha moms back in.
Republicans want suburban women back? Great. Start talking about Maha. We have both parties whining right now. Where are the women? What happened to the females? I'll tell you why women didn't show up last month. Because neither party mentioned the only thing that actually affects us every day, our health. If Maha were on the ballot, women would have left their hot girl walks to vote. But here's the truth. Us women, we're exhausted, we're stressed, we're chronically inflamed, we're anxious, we're underslept, we're over-medicated. Women don't want your 5-point economic plan. We want to understand why our skin's breaking out, why our periods look like crime scenes, and why our kids can't step outside without being allergic to the air. You have to look at culture. Women are flooding into wellness, functional medicine, clean beauty, non-toxic living, $30 chlorophyll drops that taste like pond water.
What she's actually talking about are the issues that really impact people like right where they are. And she makes a good point. A lot of this is about taking our health back, right? Making America healthy again. But also, we can't forget in a political way here, this really is about taking our country back.
Yeah.
Because these people they'll be invigorated to go out and vote for those things.
Yeah, when you're not numbed down, when you've not beaten yourself up. Women, I mean, what they say, happy wife, happy life. That's a real thing. I mean, us ladies, I mean, we're like, I don't want to say we're the backbone, but we're a really important part of the whole puzzle here. We're raising kids. We're trying to take care of our husbands. We're trying to maintain the home. We're trying to maintain our sanity, trying to do all the to-do lists and everything. And everywhere we look, I mean, we're becoming, it's fragmented, and there's too many con artists out there that are just taking advantage of us. You know, there's a lot, and I mean, the medical model is one of them. I mean, to be told to walk out the door, this is the one thing that drives me nuts. The PCOS, all these people have been getting diagnosed with polycystic ovarian syndrome, which that means is that's now a title, that's a label. So that way, at least the overweight women get to walk out with this cute little trophy called PCOS, and like, well, this is the reason why I'm going to be overweight for the rest of my life. I have PCOS. Because the doctors don't know what to say to them. They don't know what to do. Because cutting out carbs isn't working. Cutting out the sugar is not working. They're going to the gym. They're trying this. They're trying that. Jenny Craig, Weight Watchers, Ozempics. They're trying all of it, and stuff isn't working. It's just not working. It's because it's not addressing the problem that's going on the inside of the body. I mean, Oz behind the curtain. I mean, think about the whole thing with the Wizard of Oz. They did everything possible so no one could see who was controlling the show. It was this Oz behind the curtain. What's behind the curtain? I mean, literally everybody. I mean, if people can grasp this, the body is so amazing, but we've never been taught how it works. We've been taught brain, lungs, heart, ovaries, testosterone, we know that stuff, but we never really have been taught about cells and how cells communicate in the body, because what's running the show is 36 trillion cells inside of our body, every single person's body, and every single cell is literally acting just like a cell phone. And how is that? Like when I dial a number on my cell phone to call someone else's cell phone, I hit call, and this invisible thing called a frequency, a signal leaves this cell phone. The signal leaves the cell phone looking to find the other cell phone I'm calling, and my son's in Australia. This is a frequency. This is a signal that connects me to my son in Australia. And when there is his face and I'm talking to him, I'm loving this technology, but like what's letting me do this? It's a frequency. So what's behind the curtain are frequencies, odds, and that's why Nikola Tesla, when he said, if you want to understand the universe, I mean, understand, that's kind of a big thing. I'm like, I don't know if I want to understand it like that. But he's like, you have to know what energy, frequency, vibration is. Every cell has a frequency coming out of it. And if I call someone and I'm in the middle of a snowstorm or a hailstorm, I'm in the desert and I'm trying to talk to you, Justin, and I can only hear every other word coming out of your mouth. I'm like, eeks, I can't hear you very well. I'm missing the whole message. Let me call you back when I'm in a better service, right? Better signal. That's a dysfunctioning cell phone call. And that's what's happening. That's what's controlling the inside of the human body. And the cool thing is science has showed that we can reactivate and restore the cells inside. We can restore and reactivate cells, turn them back on, just like jump starting your dead battery and the dead. If you're left the lights on overnight, and you go to start that car again and the car battery is dead, the only thing that is going to make that car run again are jumper cables. You need charity musical notes. You need jumper cables. You need jumper cable. That is my business partner. You need jumper cables to start that car. Well, me bringing you a can of oil to help you with that problem of what you got going on with your car is not going to fix the problem. Oil's awesome. Oil's great, but it doesn't fix your problem with you need to jumpstart your battery. That can of oil, I use that, is that called a metaphor? I don't know what you call it, an analogy. That oil is everything and anything people are trying to do to get their health back. And it's supplements, it's go to the gym, it's eat carnivore, it's do this, take blood pressure medication, take type 2 diabetic medication, take cholesterol medication. All that's a can of oil. You need to know how the body works. And that's what we do for a living. That's what we do, is we help our clients discover what stopped working inside their body that's causing the medications to be coming in month after month after month. That's causing you to gain weight over and over. That's causing you to have PCOS. Because I'm telling you, every single woman who has seen me that has PCOS and has come to me with, they're full of shame. They blame themselves. They're full of guilt because they're spending more money and it never works. I see it all. And that's a shame, because it doesn't have to be like that. And I kind of went off on a tangent right there, but.
No, I understand. You're passionate about it and you want to see people get the help. By the way, healthwithjustin.com. You got questions for Missy? You want to hear more about what some of the things that we talked about today? Please reach out, healthwithjustin.com. She can answer those questions for you. Maybe schedule a chance to talk. Right now, they get the Black Friday, Cyber Monday week, basically, right, guys? Go on, best price of the year. Get your price locked in and join me when we come back in January as we
right
the next phase. I got a couple of questions for you here.
Sure.
So I don't know if we can get to all of them, but one of them is about frequencies. 5G was another, and the other question that folks asked about a parasite cleanse, and this is another thing. Maybe we could talk about this another time too.
Sure.
Was the frequencies? Bonnie says, I've heard some good things about the healing frequencies of linen.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And all of that in the Bible, which is kind of interesting as well. Yep. So that's a whole point, maybe for another show.
Oh, yeah.
What about the parasite cleanses?
Is a question, or do I agree with them? Heck yeah, I agree with them. The thing, ivermectin, that's definitely one of the best ways to help cleanse parasites. You can get a really good, if you go, there's a website called GEN Medicare. GENmedicare.com. I feel like you're shopping at in a Mexican pharmacy down in Mexico, because everything's like white label, and it's like legit. It's legit. I got it from my chiropractor. I said, "Where do you get your ivermectin at?" Because mine back in COVID days kept getting stopped at the border and sent back. So he is like, "Oh, this is a great place to go." But ivermectin, you get them really cheap over there. Yes, parasites. They're one of. I don't know if most people saw this, but the people that did get on ivermectin during COVID, so that way they could stay away from COVID, they didn't want to catch COVID. What they were finding, some of those people had cancer, and they were taking ivermectin just to keep their immune system's high, but later on it would show that the cancer was going away too. So, I mean, the parasites feed on all that stuff. And we see parasites show up a lot of times in our clients. And I'd recommend, if you're going to do a parasite cleanse, make sure that you do something called rebounding. Get on a mini trampoline, or best yet, these are a dime a dozen now. Go out and buy yourself a vibration platform, because as you're killing off the parasites in the body, you're going to want to support the lymphatic system and keep your lymph system moving, because there's nothing worse than killing off a bunch of stuff and your drains are all clogged. You won't feel good. And drink a lot of water.
Yeah. Great ideas. By the way, questions about these things, reach out. Missy will walk you through it. My big update: down almost 30 pounds. My wife down 23. Having to get new clothes. She's shopping in her closet for clothes that she hasn't worn.
I love that. Santa might need to buy her something kind of cute.
I think so. And by the way, feeling better than ever. But the other side of this program, which is also interesting, in fact, Kelly just asked, how much does it cost? Reach out and they'll walk you through it, because it's different for everybody, and the lowest price right now of the season. But you'll want to get in touch with Missy, healthwithjustin.com. The other interesting thing is you shared something with me about people that had diabetes, rheumatoid arthritis, and some of these other issues that people are seeing massive problems that they've had. Just absolutely.
Yeah. Can I share a story? I mean,
Sure.
All right. So I'm going to read it so I don't. Okay. So this is from Izzy. She's one of our health coaches. Izzy is one of those girls that she was diagnosed with PCOS. Didn't have a period from the time she was 14. She's, and basically told you're not going to have kids. You're going to be a heavy, overweight, 400-pound girl for the rest of your life. Sorry, here's your trophy. Well, she's down 150 pounds. She's on fire for what we do. I mean, if anyone has her as a health coach, they're lucky. But anyway, so this came from Izzy, and this is one of Trucker Randy's listeners, because I do radio shows on Mondays. She's a type 2 diabetic, and her regular blood sugar, this is horrible, you guys. Her regular blood sugar levels are 300 to 500 on a daily basis. That's her body. It's not good. She uses 15 or more units of insulin at night, and she prays that she would wake up in the morning and not be in a coma, because that's a real thing. And using even more insulin during the day. After 1 week on our program, her blood sugar is at 150. And after 2 weeks, it was at 110, and only having to use less than 5 units before she goes to bed now. That's huge.
Wow.
And using none during the day. She also struggles with rheumatoid arthritis. She says she wasn't able to open jars, cut vegetables, get dressed by herself, and she would be in extreme pain. She can now do all, is in capitals, all those things and more. She was sobbing on the phone, being so grateful for the program. In 2 weeks on the program, she's almost lost 15 pounds down of all fat, and she's feeling so awesome.
Wow.
We're more than weight loss. We literally get to the root of the problem of the entire thing inside the body. That's how the science works on our system. We're a body reset, and you happen to lose weight, but you're more than likely, that's normal. I would like to be like, oh my God, that is an amazing. Hang that testimony on the wall. Let everyone see. That's a normal testimony. That's normal. It's people just need to call so I can go into more detail on how the body works, and they have to call.
Well, that's the best way to get your questions answered, and of course to walk through it with Missy. Healthwithjustin.com. She doesn't bite. There's no charge.
We're gonna have a conversation. I'm like, say consultation. That sounds too stuffy. I'm not gonna ask you to bust out your credit card. We don't do anything like that. I want you to understand what it is that we do, and if it works for you and fits, then by all means, we're here to help you. But we don't sit there, and I don't have a team of people that calls you for the next 18 weeks. I'm like, hey, I'm going to give you more of a discount. We don't. You either choose. It's up to the person if they want to do it.
You got to see if it's a fit for you. By the way, one thing is for sure. If it is, you're going to be fitting into those clothes that you haven't worn in years too, because I know that's what we're saying. Missy, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for taking the time to walk us. Thank you for your heart to help people and to make America healthy again. It's obviously so important this time of year.
Absolutely. God bless everybody. I mean, believe in yourself. Stop living in shame, blame, and guilt because no one's ever told you. We just have to have a conversation. And I'm a paradigm shift. And once you hear it, you can't unhear it.
Healthwithjustin.com. You can call him at 269-964-4044. Healthwithjustin.com. Thank you for the Maha Missy update as always. God bless.